Obadiah, yeah.
Obadiah, where are you from?
I'm from a little place called Jerusalem.
It's cool.
All right, okay, all right. Let me finish you with this. Let's finish you with this, okay? Right? The Lord doesn't deal with vengeance, okay? This is the book of
justice.
He deals with justice, okay? This is what his saints wait for, which the saints are the Israelites, okay? The book of Psalms, the 58th chapter and the 10th verse. The righteous shall rejoice when he seeth the vengeance.
Okay. What do you think it says?
He shall wash his feet in the blood of the wicked.
Feed my sheep.
What's love according to the scriptures?
So love is taken care of. Love and charity never faileth.
Okay, that's okay, but you still haven't defined what love is in accordance to the scriptures.
Love, it is love one another.
Okay. Book of 2 John 1 and 6. Right? And it's going to tell you this is love. Okay?
What does it say?
2 John 1 and 6. And this is love. Right? Now what is it? If I say this is football and I follow with blah 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 blah, what does that mean to say?
I'm interested now.
I'm setting up the premise. You can't just go into a ring and just throw a knockout fight. You gotta set it up. You gotta enjoy the moment. I'm enjoying my moment right now. Okay? And when he says, and this is love, what do you expect to see?
That this is love.
Okay. And this is love, that we walk after his commandments.
Yes.
This is the commandments that ye have heard from the beginning. So what is love?
So the love is
don't
keep my commandments. That's what it says.
Okay, so what's love?
So
keeping
the commandments.
Okay, what are the commandments that he said to keep? I'm asking you specifically.
It was that if you love God with all your mind, and strength.
What's love? What's love?
It is loving God.
No, what is love in accordance to the scriptures? I just showed you.
Keeping the commandments.
So you keep the commandments of the Most High.
Not of the Messiah. It's more the love that Jesus Christ came with. The New Testament.
What was the New Testament? How does the New Testament all from the different Testament?
So the New Testament, the Old Testament, it has a really big health law. He talks about we shouldn't eat seashells.
Right.
But you remember with Jesus Christ, he says, I'm here to fulfill, not to destroy. So
right, so what was he fulfilling? No, he didn't give no new law. He said, I came not to destroy the law, but to fulfill.
Yep.
He said, I came not to destroy. Why did he fulfill? What was he fulfilling?
You were fulfilling the Messiah law.
What was he fulfilling specifically?
When he was here fulfilling the Messiah law.
See, so you don't know. See, that's another mystery that you've showed yourself not to know. What he was fulfilling was iniquity. Okay, iniquity requires blood. Okay, that's why he gave his blood. Okay, right? That's why he gave his blood. He didn't destroy the law. See, you guys don't know this. Hey, man, just having fun with them guys, man. All right, but back in the book of 2 John, the 1st chapter and the 6th verse. All right, it says, and this is love, that we walk after his commandments. This is the commandments that ye have heard from the beginning. You shall walk in it. So, dudes, you're supposed to be following. It says, you got Jake all over the world talking about they love their this, that, and the third, and so on and so forth. Love the Most High, but they don't keep his commandments. Well, you're supposed to be keeping the commandments of the Most High, man. All right, and here it is. You got it to where you got all of these pork chop preachers throughout the four corners of the earth, teaching you that you can eat pork and catfish and so on and so forth. That's against the Lord's commandments of the Most High. Here it is. You got a first covenant in the book of Hebrews, the 8th chapter, rather more in the book of Deuteronomy that's spoken about, where with the Most High sanctified us by way of blood. Okay, and now you got the you got the new covenant. All right, wherewith the Lord's gonna write His laws within our minds. All right, where in the middle of that you get the laws being done away with, man. Okay, you don't get the laws of the Most High being done away with in any of that, man. Okay, if he's going to establish a new covenant, as spoken about within the book of Hebrews, the 8th chapter and the 8th verse, he's going to establish a new covenant, all right, and that covenant is going to be dealing with the laws, okay, all right. That stands to reason that the laws are still in full effect. And when the Lord came on the scene, when he said he was fulfilling that which was required by way of what? By way of the Lord, man. Okay, meaning to say he was going to take back, he was going to fulfill where the scripture says if you commit something to iniquity, right, you are either going to be put to death or you're going to have to make a blood sacrifice, man. All right, and so the Lord came on the scene and he atoned for all the iniquity, going to show you that he was dealing with Israel, because them different nations. If the Lord came to fulfill, how'd you get them different nations all up in that fulfillment, man? They didn't know the law from the first place, man. The book of Psalms, the 147th chapter and the 19th verse tells you that, man. Showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes, commandments unto Israel. He hath not dealt so with any nation, and as for his judgment, they have not known it, man. So these different nations didn't know the judgment of the Most High, man. Okay, therefore they don't know the fulfillment of the law that the Lord had come set forth to bring back the tribal, the nation of Israel to being one with the Most High, man. All right, to being in peace with the Most High, because right now we're likened unto a strange vine unto the Most High, man. That's why we got all kind of curses falling upon us, man. All right, the Lord said that, how have thou become a degenerate plant unto me? All right, let's go back into this. It says, so that was that done. In fact, let's go to this book of John 17th chapter and the 9th verse, and let me just make sure I made the correct statement there. Okay, because the Lord did say, ye have not chosen me, right, but I have chosen you. All right, because the Most High is set up to where, but them dudes that woke up to the truth and the Lord chose them, really, they were set forth from the foundations of the earth when the Most High did that. So this is John 17 and 9. It says, John 17 and 9 says, I pray for them, I pray not for the world, but from them which thou hast given me, for they are thine, right? And all mine are thine, and thine are mine. Meaning to say, man, okay, they're in unison. The Lord and the Most High are in unison. So it's, if the Most High picking them is like the Lord picking them, man. Okay, all right. So and it says, and now I am more in the world, but these, I says, but I am no more in the world, but these are in the world, and I come to thee. It says, the Holy Father, keep through thy name, right, those whom thou hast given me, right, all right, they that they may be one, and we are as one. So talking about again whom the Lord, who the Most High had given unto Yahushua. Okay, all right. So pretty much that will go back onto the topic that I was dealing with. Which was in the book of Habakkuk. Habakkuk. This is Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter, and I was at the 4th verse, and it says, because for the multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot, all right, the mistress of witchcraft, that selleth nations, and through her whoredoms and her families, through her witchcraft, man. Okay, all right. So you got it to where, you know, America right now is that nation, right, that be selling them different countries to her through her whoredoms and her witchcraft, man. Okay. All right, and right now they do that on what you know as the stock market. All right, where with all of that debt that these people amass, okay, that's sold onto these different foreign lands, of which I believe America, was it China? China is the main holder of debt for the vast majority of them, of the vast majority of America's debt right now, man. And really, what they're doing is they're trying to cut their losses, and they're trying to sell that debt off of to these other smaller countries that are, you know, are maybe not as aware as they are of what's about to happen out there with this economic collapse, man. All right, let's get the book of Revelations, the 13th chapter and the 9th verse. It says, and if any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity. So they've been really, on a physical sense, they sold the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, right, and they were selling them off to one another, to other Edomites. All right, and now they're selling the Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, right, in terms of the corporate sense, where they're selling their debt and hence their lives to these other different nations. And the Lord said, he that leadeth into captivity, okay, so we was led into that captivity by that well-favored harlot, all right, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the faith and the patience of the saints. So you know, the faith and the patience of the saints is that they're going to take part in what's known as vengeance, man. Right, balancing the scales, okay, right, contrary to what these different pastors and so-called bishops, and you got to wear a lot of Jacob, you know, when they see Esau in a position of some kind of and I quote unquote biblical power, man, they flock to that, man. Okay, right? Why? Because when you go into the really when you go into the book of Job 9:24, it talks about how the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. All right. So when you talk about Pope Alexander and his son, what's this guy, Cesare Borgia, and when they basically put forth the image of them and him being the Lord and the Messiah, when they see Edomite in that position where they're teaching the scriptures, man, Jake goes crazy about it, man. All right, they will listen to that. They'll listen to an individual like that to their own destruction, man. Okay, but that's why also that's the fulfillment of scripture, because these people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. So if you knew who the enemy was in accordance to the scriptures, you wouldn't follow these different guys to your own demise, man. All right, you wouldn't follow these different people to your own demise. You wouldn't follow these different individuals to your own demise, man. All right, you'll be seeking for a leader that's going to be of your kin, man. And really, the scripture talks about how you ain't supposed to even elect an individual that's not of the same lineage as you. How much more so to follow a spiritual lineage, a spiritual, so-called spiritual leader, like that's individual that he would, and you know he would have been teaching Jake's, man. Because Jake be in them different churches, man. Okay? He would have been teaching them, but so, you got it to where that dude really didn't even know the scriptures, man. Okay? He even know the scriptures, man. He didn't know the mystery, who Mystery Babylon was. Okay, which is an important thing, because the destruction of Mystery Babylon is imminent. When you go into them different prophecies dealing with Babylon, the vast majority of them are getting ready to be fulfilled, man. Okay? They're reaching the precipice of them trying to achieve that so-called New World Order and all of that. I mean, to say they're right at the precipice of them being, their riches being flown away, man, because the scripture talks about when he's about to fill his belly, that's when he's going to be in straits, man. And part of them straits, which the word straits means difficulties, right, part of them straits, them difficulties, is us coming up against this, man, and telling them, look, hey, your kingdom is done, all right? These are the real people of the Most High. These are not, man, okay? Right, these are not the people of the Most High, man. And you got all of these false doctrines to where you got dudes just coming up. Oh, I'm from the tribe of Ephraim. All of that. Look, man, the tribe of Ephraim is the Mexicans out there, man. All right. What's the proof? What's the proof of that? When you go to the book of Genesis, the 47th chapter, how Ephraim was going to be in the last days. All right, the curses. All right, them being fruitful, right, and laborers. I believe the word Ephraim goes back onto he is hired, if I'm not mistaken, off the top of my head, meaning to say they be working, man. How did that apply to that individual there, man? It didn't. Okay? It didn't apply to him when he came up, man. All right? So getting back onto this, in Revelations 13:9, it says, and if any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity, and he that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. What keeps the saints of the Most High in a state of mental balance, okay, in a state of mental sanity, if you will, is the fact that the Most High is going to impart judgment upon the enemies of Israel. In fact, when you go to the book of Zechariah, the 13th chapter, was it 13th chapter? Was it Zechariah 14 and 12? No, I think it's in Zechariah anyway. It says, he that toucheth you touches the apple of the Most High's eye, man. I mean to say, he that touches this nation that was special unto him, right? The Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, right? The Israelites, the spread throughout the four corners of the earth. He that toucheth you touches the principal focus of the Most High, man. Okay, that's not something I would want to do, and that goes for Jake as well. That be trying to destroy these people. Like Nate, you're touching the eye of the people of the Most High's eye, man. You're trying to destroy the principal focus of the Most High's eye. So we know that you're gonna receive judgment, man. Okay, you're gonna receive judgment for that. Now, got it to where the elders, some of the elders still believe you're gonna come back, but you're gonna have to be humbled by that. So therefore, judgment is gonna have to play out for you to be humbled. Okay, so you might lose your family or something, man. Okay, you might lose certain things that you actually love, man, because you don't love the people, man. Not yet, man. But the Most High, if you really are a prophet, you really are after that, just like how he did Jonah, man. Jonah was set forth from the foundations of the earth to be a prophet, man. All right, and he was supposed to prophesy against Nineveh prior. But really, when he did end up prophesying Nineveh, the people repented, and the king set up a day of fasting, I believe, and the Most High spared it for until 615 BC when Nineveh was finally destroyed by way of the Babylonians, man. Okay, because you know what? The Messiah raised up the Babylonians to take down who? Jerusalem, because now they were going off. Okay? Right, but going back onto the point I was making, you had the man Jonah, and he didn't want to be a prophet, man. So he ran away from the Most High with the word had set up a seed. Here's the thing about being the elect. If you are truly of the elect, okay, you can do some stupid things, and the Most High judges you for that, man. Now, how much more so? Going back onto the point of what this guy had said way earlier, talking about hell. Jonah said he was in the belly of hell, man. All right, he was in the belly of hell, right up until that fish spat him out, man. So he was in a state of hell, man. He said he was in the belly of hell, man. What does that go to prove to you? That hell and heaven are just states that are played up on earth, all right? And the people that are in that state of heaven ship right now, they're going to be taken down. They're going to be put into that belly of hell, just like Jonah was. And that might actually physically manifest itself, because them different scripture talks about how the Lord's put forth vengeful creatures out there, man. All right, that these different people be seeing and trying to make documentaries of, but the Most High is teasing with them like Leviathan and so on and so forth, and all of them kind of things there. The Most High is going to have them, you know, manifest themselves, man. He's going to release the Kraken, man. Okay, so you can understand, he's going to release that, and that's going to do some hurt, man. And they're going to be in the belly of hell, man. Okay. But unlike Jonah, they ain't going to be in the belly of hell, and then the Lord has it to where he gets spat out in Nineveh, and then he fulfills his lot. Your lot's been fulfilled. Your lot was to be the wicked. And the scripture says in the book of Isaiah, the Lord has created all for himself, yea, even the wicked, for the day of judgment, man. Okay? It says, yea, even the wicked for the day of judgment. So even the wicked have been created for judgment, man. Right? To rise up upon the earth, to perpetuate wickedness. All right, and once they've done their job of being the best wicked people that they could ever be,
that's it.
They was gonna be destroyed, man. Okay, so they're gonna be in that state of enslavement, right, for 1,000 years, and as pursuant to the book of Obadiah and the book of Job, the 20th chapter, you're gonna be bound and burnt and destroyed. All right, so book of back in Nahum, the 4th chapter, it says, because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot, the mistress of witchcraft, and that selleth nations through her whoredoms, and the families through her witchcraft, right? Behold, I am against thee, saith the Lord of hosts, right? And I will discover thy skirt upon thy face, and I'll show the nations thy nakedness, and the kingdoms thy shame. So right now, by way of the Lord, by way of Yahweh Shimei Shai, okay, these different you know, all of the wickedness that America does, right, is we're revealing it, man. Okay, we're revealing all their wickedness, man. Okay, we're putting forth on blast, man. Okay, right, dealing with you know, Monsanto. We're bringing that to light, man. How they're pumping all of that food with, you know, with GMOs and so on and so forth. We bring forth that to light, man. Okay, and we do it, you know, we do it in accordance to the scriptures too, man. So you got it to where these different individuals within the American government pushing forth legislation, right, to allow it to where anything contradictory to the scriptures happens. We bring that forth to life, man, with the Rainbow Club and all of that, man. And we dissect all of that, and that's why I said the statement I made earlier, how really we're likened unto Esau being in straits, man. We bring forth the most difficulty to him, because he can't shut us down, man. All right, he can't shut us. He can't shut the word of the Messiah, man. Now you gonna get it to where, you know, certain dudes might, you know, get killed or whatever, man. But ultimately, the whole unit, right? Because this thing is off the Messiah, the whole unit ain't gonna be brought down to the ground, man. All right, but like the scripture said, man, look, some of you is gonna die for this work, man. All right, certain dudes is gonna have to die for this thing, man. All right, but that's a great honor. How much more so? What kind of death do you want then? If you don't want to die for the truth, we gonna die for, man? Your woman? Come on, man. So it says here, and I will cast abominable filth upon thee, right? And I'll make thee vile, and I'll set thee as a gazing stock. And that ties in with what it says in the book of Isaiah, the 14th chapter. Because in the book of Isaiah, the 14th chapter, it says this. It says, how art thou become as weak as we? Right? Meaning the nations are going to be looking at Esau, like, man, look at this. Man, that was the same dude that was stealing oil, opium, right? Gold, silver, right? People. Because he's stealing people, right? He steals them people's nations, countries, and so on and so forth. All right? They're going to narrowly look upon him, fulfilling what it says here. And I'll show thee the nations thy nakedness, and the kingdoms thy shame, and I'll cast abominable filth upon thee, and I will set thee as a gazing stock, and it shall come to pass that when all look upon thee shall flee and say, Nineveh is laid waste. And like I said, the modern day Nineveh is America, man. Because when it's laid waste, all them countries that ties in with Revelation, the 18th chapter, man. Okay? When that destruction is going to take place, man, them different nations, the EU and all of that, they're actually going to turn against us. Because really, when you think about it, Germany really, and that's what America don't really like about Germany, man. Germany really don't want to be involved in all of these in all of these wars in the kind of sense. I believe I watched that on a documentary. Whether that's actually correct or not is up for debate. But according to this documentary I was watching about Germany, man, they really don't want to be involved in all of that. But you got it to where America, which is the woman that sits upon that beast, okay, drags them into these different wars, man. Okay, because you think about a dragon or it's like this. He's like Daenerys and that, and them fire-breathing dragons, man. That's like that's America, all right. And that's the beast, which is NATO, man. Okay, and they, you know, she controls them to go into all of these different battles and these different wars. But ultimately, the scripture talks about how these how these different nations will go and turn against the whole, man. All right, and you seeing the same thing spoken about within the book of Nahum. Right, the 3rd chapter and the 7th verse, it says, it shall come to pass that they that look upon thee shall flee from thee, and they shall say, Nineveh is laid waste. So Babylon's going to be laid waste. Okay, America. All right, and he says, who will bemoan her, and when shall I seek comforters? Okay, it says, art thou better than the populace? No. That was situate amongst the rivers that had the waters round about it, whose rampant was the sea, and her O was and her woe was from the sea. It says Ethiopia and Egypt for her strength, right? And it was infinite. Okay, so that, you know, that goes going.